Hey everybody, I'm Trevor.
I'm Vincent.
We are the Anthony and Todd Show, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest record by Solange, Knowles, Best, When I Get Home. Solange is probably, let's just get it out of the way, Solange is probably best known for being the younger sister of Beyonce Knowles, obviously huge pop superstar, but she's probably even better known for getting snubbed at the 2017 Kids' Choice Awards for Best Artist. Losing, of course, to 21 Pilots. I was really disappointed.
I completely forgot that meme existed.
I remember when that happened. I was really disappointed. But in all fairness, Solange has been making music for a long time. Really since about when Beyonce was making music. And she was like writing music for Beyonce, for other Destiny's Child members. She got signed to a record label, or her father's record label, really. And none of her music stuck.
Yeah.
None of her music was really making any sort of waves. And she tried to form like her own collective and tried to, make more compelling music. But finally, on her third studio record attempt, A Seat at the Table back in 2016, she struck gold.
Yeah.
Because that record was really, really amazing.
Yeah.
Solange just coming through with this new girl power alternative R&B that I feel like Beyonce just never could even touch.
It's very confident but also smooth.
Yes.
It's just almost unattainable in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Solange has been pretty quiet since the release of that record. She hasn't really released any sort of music, done really any sort of PR stuff until very recently, like maybe 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Sometime this week, she started being more active on Twitter.
She was on Black Planet, of all places.
Yeah, and then somebody got the track listing for this latest record and posted it. And then Complex picked up on it,
and then we got these tweets. We got a teaser video, and then it was announced. Oh yeah, midnight, new album. So
and then it happened. Everyone was really interested in this record because, like I said, we hadn't got anything from Solange. I really like to see it at the table. And When I Get Home, as Vincent put to me sometime this week, this is more like Earl Sweatshirt's Some Rap Songs, but being made by Solange with a different type of.
It's not meant to amplify depression. It's not to be that soundscape. It's supposed to be a different soundscape, but it has that same kind of
it's got the same weird kind of feeling. It's got an interlude just about after every track or every 2 tracks or so.
Yeah.
And these can range anywhere between an R&B kind of play out kind of thing to Solange making a homemade Snapchat video just yelling.
Yeah, and also these weird motivational videos of sorts. This thing just surprises me because I knew Solange's ceiling was high. I like to see it at the table, but I didn't know it was going to be this high. This is incredible work that she's doing here because it's very loose, as I mentioned, but it I don't know. I think it's just well crafted. I feel like I don't have to think when I'm listening to this record.
Yeah.
It just takes me on that journey. We're going through these spaces, and both figuratively and literally on some of these tracks, we're going through some spaces. But yeah, I just feel like this thing is well crafted in form and structure. The way it uses features, whether they just be weird background vocals that appear on some of the tracks like Tyler Creator, or full blown weird features like Gucci Mane and Playboy Cardi, who show up on this thing completely in their most bold form yet.
Yeah.
And it works. You have a track on here that features Solange, The Dream, and Playboy Cardi, the biggest grab bag of artists. And it just works. And I don't have to think about how it works in the environment that is set up. It just operates smoothly. I just don't understand it, and I'm trying to think about it, but I just shouldn't think about it too hard because there isn't much to think about because it's just a well crafted track. Playboy Cardi's put into a role that fits him, being this very charismatic all performance artist. He's not really saying anything worth, but he hasn't said anything really worth his entire career. Mm-hmm. It's more about the benefactor of his performance, and you get moments like that, but you also get moments. As I mentioned, Gucci Mane before, he's made to be this very fun and playful artist. That's the type of character Gucci Mane thrives in. That type of operation, not being a slick trap rapper, but being this bold character.
Yeah.
Solange throughout this entire thing is creating this iridescent space. So it reminds me a lot of like watching like public broadcast television, like PBS. It just like how everything operates. It feels nostalgic in a sense, but it just feels like a dream of sorts too, kind of surreal. And I think that also adds up how to the spaces play out, because how dreams operate. Like you can be in your bedroom and then go through the door and you'll be in like a supermarket.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like some of these features operate in a lot of these vocal performances, because how like a creator can appear up for like one line to say, here's your hair, or something like that, or like I like your hair, or whatever he says. And then like Panda Bear can show up for a line and you don't really have to question it, because that's just how it operates. That's how this universe operates. I just find it to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's very like dreamlike, and I feel like our guide through these like weird dream space is Solange.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of like weird characters that interact with us, and all sorts of like weird stuff that happens while I'm there, and it all is just like happening while I'm moving. The things are constantly in motion. Even like the interludes even serve to like just put us into the next track and constantly just keep us in motion so we can hit the end of that record, which like it just like takes you on this trip. It's like a mind-numbing trip. You don't have to think about it. It just happens. I really have to commend Solange here for making all these like different producers and artists and features work.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there are so many different features and producers on here. Like you said, Playboy Carti, Gucci Mane, Tyler the Creator, Pharrell produces, Metro Boomin produces,
Steve
The
Lacy.
Dream, Steve Lacy, Panda Bear. Like there are so many different.
Earl Sweatshirt of all people.
Oh,
That's where the initial thought of some rap songs
There are
came
just
to mind.
there are so many people in here that all respect Solange like as an artist and are giving her that due respect, and the record turns out to be something really amazing, but also like it feels so effortless. It feels like Solange put this together in like 2 days, when I'm sure this took the entire like last year to make and get everybody together for. And the way that it just is so seamless in its production work, and the way that it just flows like in a cycle is incredible. I have to give her all the props in the world for doing that.
But yeah, going over individual tracks, things I imagine, it feels like this VHS tape is like sliced into pieces and has this weird feedback, because Solange is just saying things, I imagine, and saying in these different like kind of cadence, or singing them in almost like different melodic lines. But it just keeps on getting like distorted, or it gets like out of tune. The keys like match her voice. It's weird. It's a weird opener, but you get like another moment later on. What is it? Dreams, where she's literally just saying dreams over and over and over again, and it has that same style of just something's off, but it also feels really flowing and beautiful.
My Skin My Logo is this track where like her and Gucci Mane just like trade off lines. It's like a call and response kind of thing, and their chemistry on here is like nothing like I would ever expect from the two of them. I don't know, my biggest like thing about this is just the continuity of the way this thing is produced. Like I said, it just feels like I'm on this constant journey. Like Solange grabbed my hand and we just flew off into the dream space.
I think that continues on Beltway, which is just, like, I think it's a road, from my knowledge and my little research on this. It's a circle, a road of like toll roads and highway and stuff like that surrounds Houston, where Solange grew up. So it centers her and her position in where she came from, her roots. So it's like, you get this like idea that like you're circling around something, almost like you're going through like a subway of sorts, even though it's not really a subway. Like you're traveling all these different locations, going down this circular road, and then you get to exit Scott, which is an exit that she takes to get to her hometown, which it feels like we're finally getting on like this last bit of road before we get into new terrain. And then for Sound of Rain, we completely get into a more synthetic place. Because this album has a lot of bass to it. A lot of bass and like a lot of natural instrumentation, a lot of jazz percussion as well. A lot of hi-hats throughout this course of the entire thing. But like Sound of Rain is completely synthetic and has made up of these synths. And then moments like Not Screwed have guitar on them, very distorted electric guitar. So we're getting essentially going on to an exit into a new world of sorts, because the previous album was the journey to get to here, and now we're in this final bit, which I found to be an incredible structure piece. But yeah, how this thing just flows effortlessly, and the amount of passion and different stylistic performances that are laid across this entire thing, I just found to be really breathtaking, and it's one of my favorite albums of the year so far. I just think how it just lays out, it makes sense. I don't really have to, again, I don't have to think when I listen to this.
Yeah.
It, not to say that the themes that are carried on this thing don't carry weight, but I feel like I just am so, I'm taken care of when I'm listening to this record.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's all you need to know.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like it gives me nostalgia for a place I never went, a time that I was never a part of, a family that I never lived in. It's really interesting how she brings her experience with Houston, which keeps her grounded, like you said, the Beltway and Exit Scott tracks especially, but this whole record keeps her grounded within her hometown, and it makes me just feel this like weird nostalgia for something that I was never a part of, which I think is incredibly talented and creative music making, and her just performances on here I think really solidify that as well. I really, really enjoyed this record. Like you said, definitely one of my favorites for the year so far, and I hope this gets the recognition that it deserves.
Yeah, because it's definitely worth the recognition. And I think we're going to leave it at that. Until next time, guys, I've been Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
And see you, boys.
Bye, everybody.